Good day, everybody. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic. When does the biblical day begin? And that's going to be my bibliological explanation, because I'm going to use the Bible and the logic to make a doctrine. This video is devoted to anybody who celebrates the Sabbath day. There's basically two notions or two ways of celebrating the Sabbath, starting from the evening of the Friday and starting from the morning. So here I'm going to explain what the Bible says about the beginning of the day. So what is the biblical day? What is the definition? God actually ties each of the biblical days to the creation of the world. He himself speaks on the mountain Sinai in Exodus 20:11 that in 6 days he made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. So that's the definition of the biblical week, okay? But every time, any period of time has its start, right? Just like we have the year 2022 right now, starting from the resurrection of Christ, I believe. The same way we count days, we count weeks, we count years, starting from certain moment, right? So when we trace our day back to the first day of creation, we have to understand that there was at this very day, the time actually began. At the very first day, God made the light. The history of the mankind began. And we have to understand that, biblically speaking, the sun divides or discerns the day, each day. We can see it in the Genesis chapter 1, verse 16. You can check it right now. Pause the video and see that sun was given particularly for the discernment of the day, or the, let's say, hour, okay? So that's going to be the proper way to say the hour of the day. So yeah, the question is what actually started the time here? And what was the time of the day at this start? So what happened and what was the time of the day? Just like the runner, he runs his 100 meters in 20 seconds, starting from what? Starting from the sound of the starter pistol, okay? When the starter pistol shots, right? So that was the event. The time started to be counted. And so the same manner, we have to understand what event, what starter pistol happened here, so that the time started to be counted. Okay, so let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 1 to see what happened. So, the verse 1. In the beginning God created the heaven and earth. And so, right now here we don't see the creation of anything. And it really easily proved by the fact that the heaven and earth were completed factually only at verse 9. You can check it out. So if God says that the heaven and earth were created at the verse 1, then it's going to be contradiction. So basically, what does the verse 1 says? In the beginning God created the heaven and earth. It's basically the introduction. It's just an introduction. It's like we know that the book of Genesis mostly is the historical book, and everything is going in its chronological order. And so as long as it's a historical book, it has to have some sort of manner of, narrative manner, okay? And so if we take a look at also the verse 2:4 or 2:1, that's going to be the conclusion. So all the process of the creation is encapsulated between the verse 1:1 and the verse 1 and the verse 2:4, for example, or the 2:1. It's actually 2:4. So it's like the verse 1:1 is the introduction, and the verse 2:4 is the conclusion, and everything that is in between is the actual process of the creation. We can actually like reinterpret this verse as like, that's how God created the heaven and earth. Okay. So yeah, it doesn't tell us about anything about creation whatsoever, about the process of creation. It's just an introduction. Okay. So okay, the second verse, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So nothing happens here. Okay, right now we have to be really careful, okay? And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Found. We have found the beginning of time. So that was the creation. That was the moment when the time started to be counted. When God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. So at this very moment, the history of the mankind actually began. And let us find out what was the time of the day at this very moment. And God saw the light. So it means basically that the light was everywhere. It was filling the entire space because he saw it. He saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. So what do we see here? God created the light. The time started to be counted. He saw the light, meaning that it was filling out an entire space, meaning that it was basically the daytime. And just to prove that, he called the light day. So that just proves that the day starts from the daytime. Okay. So that's the basic explanation. Everything, like, if you want to know anything about the creation, about the day, and anything else, you have to actually go back to the book of Genesis. Everything is here. But what about this? People usually use this verse to prove that the day begins with the evening. And so that's how the KJV writes this word, this verse or the excerpt. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Actually, it's the wrong translation. You can check it out. We have instruments right now. You can, for example, you can go to My Sword or any other underlined translation, and you're gonna see that actually it's translated like this. And there came to pass the evening, and there came to pass the morning, the first day. So how to really interpret what it means? I would suggest to really look at the graphical explanation that I came up with, and it really explains the sort of narrative manner in which the process of creation is described. So that's how it looks like. That's what it means. So as long as we know that the book of Genesis is basically the historical book, everything is going in its proper order, in its chronological order. So that's what it means. So there was the creation of the light during the day. then it came to pass the evening, and then it came to pass the morning, and all of that made the first day. So that's the narrative manner. You can actually check it for other days, the creation of heaven during the day. So there came to pass the creation of heaven during the day. There came past the evening. There came past the morning, and all of that made the day 2. And so that's how we have right now we have the day, then it came to pass the evening, and then it came to pass the morning. So that's just it really is like a common sense, and that's really there's actually a very interesting conclusion out of the book of Genesis, that we live right now more or less the same manner in which God worked himself. Okay, so we work during the day. Okay, yeah, we do our works during the day. Then we have the evening in which we don't work. Then we have the morning at which we don't work. And then the new day begins and we work again. So humanity actually, like most of the humanity, lives that way. So that's just a common sense, okay? I believe that God is a God of common sense, is a God of wisdom. He made everything using wisdom, basically. And so, yeah, and he gave this wisdom to our world. So we know all this wisdom. We work the same way as he worked. But how does it look like practically? I mean, speaking about the start of the day. Because people can go to some extremes, like saying, okay, when exactly the day begins? Okay, that's a fair question, I would say. And let's look at well, first of all, I highly recommend you as the homework to read the Exodus chapter 16, starting from verse 14 to the verse 30. It's actually the practical teaching of when the day begins by God himself. He's doing that through Moses, but basically it's really the explanation of when the day begins. And he's doing that through manna, through the Sabbath day. He explains all of that in a practical way. So, but let us just take the excerpt just for the sake of our question. And they gathered it every morning, speaking about the manna, every man according to his eating, and when the sun waxed hot, it melted. So I think that's the kind of explanation when the day begins. That's just a hint, okay? Because you have to read the context to really understand what is happening right now, and why I'm doing that conclusion that when the sun waxed hot actually at the beginning of the new day. But just for the sake of the brevity, that's the explanation. So when the sun waxed hot, like a couple of days ago, I actually went, like in the morning, it was like 3 a.m. I went in the mountains just to see when the sun waxes hot. And actually that's what I found out, is when the sun becomes as it is in its zenith. I mean, in a sense of the color, that's when the day begins. Basically, because when it's the morning and when you already see the sun, it's like orange color, or like the red, orange. But when it becomes yellow, like light yellow, I think that's when the sun start to wax hot. And for me, that's when the day begins. But I'm not like making some sort of doctrine right now. For me, the day starts when I see the sun being already above the horizon. For me, that's the beginning of the day. So yeah, and let's just see the practical implications of of the of the start of the day from the morning. Well, first of all, as we have already mentioned, that it's intrinsically obvious for a man to start a day from the daytime. Okay. In general, around the world, people start the day from the daytime. People work during the daytime, they rest in the evening, and they prepare for the next day in the morning. That's just the common sense. And the second implication, which is like more important for us, in the context of the discussion, is that this Sabbath starting from the morning is much more convenient. And I can say that because I can really compare. I used to celebrate the Sabbath day starting from the evening, and right now I celebrate the Sabbath starting from the morning, and I see the difference, like huge difference. I've been in the Adventist church. I remember when people prepared for the Sabbath day at the evening of the Thursday, but it's just, I think it's not really what God intended for us to do. It's just like it really looks weird. I would say. I'm not saying like these people are bad or something. I'm just saying that it's just, for me it really bothered me. Just you have to really prepare in the Thursday evening, where you cannot see that in the Bible, by the way. You never see people preparing for the Sabbath day at the end of the Thursday. And but when you have the Sabbath starting from the morning, it's just, you just prepare for the Sabbath in the evening of the Friday. So you work during the day, okay? Then you prepare for the Sabbath in the evening. You prepare the food, maybe you do whatever, laundry and other stuff like ironing your clothes for the congregation. So you do all these things, and the next day you just don't care about anything. You just sleep and then go to the church. And so it's just so logical, for me at least. And so here's the bonus. It's just to prove that, also the proof that the morning is the beginning of the day. Just let us just read like the Exodus chapter 16, which I talked about before, which I highly recommend you to read to really understand when the day begins. But let's just read this excerpt. And he said unto them, This is that which the Lord has said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. So here Moses is not saying that you have to keep all of that until the evening. He's saying to keep until the morning. And they laid it up till the morning, as Moses bade, and it didn't stink, neither was there any worm therein. So what do we have to understand right now from the at the verse 24? That starting from the verse 24 is already morning, like chronologically speaking. So they laid it up till the morning, so it's already the morning. And then Moses said in the verse 25, Eat that today, for today is the Sabbath unto the Lord. Today ye shall not find it in the field. So Moses said, Eat that today, for today is the Sabbath, only in the morning. Why didn't he say that in the evening of the previous day? So that's just food for thought, you know. But basically for me, it just says that when the morning started, the Moses told them, like, today is the Sabbath day, have a rest. Yeah, so that's my basic explanation. So feel free to um, share your comments on that, and really, maybe I'm wrong in something. Just give me your thoughts upon that. And have a nice day. Bye bye.